Meanwhile, in Tupac news,
The shooting of Tupac Shakur once again underscores the violence that has surrounded this man since he shot the superstar.
Four people pulled up, opened fire. Shakur and Knight.
Tupac Shakur was shot several times in the chest. Shakur was pronounced dead.
MAKAVELI in this, Illuminati, all through your body. The blows like a 12-gauge shot. Feel me? Woke up with 50 enemies plotting my death. All 50 seeing visions of me shot in the chest.
Motherfuckers who fear Pac the most. Part of this competition.
So you busters is jealous. Pull your gun out and blast. I dare you niggas to open fire. I murder that ass and disappear.
When Jimmy Iovine heard, I thought that Pac was dead, right? First thing he said was, "You can't be a dead man sales." He said, "You lucky as fuck. You done hit the jackpot."
Only Gab can do it like this.
Why y'all caught up in the rapture? Still after me, I'm in Jamaica sipping daiquiris. No doubt.
Tupac not dead, n***. You know he's somewhere smoking a Cuban cigar on the island somewhere, right now. You know what I mean? Jimmy turned back around and did a deal and signed Puffy as an artist on Interscope. In this business, it's not really loyalty to a lot of these dudes. Bitch-ass Puffy, every rat in the world said he didn't want to kill Tupac.
Yep.
Or had him shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yo, YouTube, what up? It's your homie Gab, I'm in the building. And this is MAKAVELI Media. This is it, y'all. This is the final installment of the Mystery of Vegas Part 7. The grand finale. And I figured it should end accordingly with Suge Knight. Now, Suge has been saying several different things over the years. I've talked to the people closest to him, Reggie Wright Jr., Sharita Knight, his ex-wife, and several other people behind the scenes. And nobody can explain to me some of the weird comments that Suge Knight has said over the years surrounding the murder of Tupac Shakur. Now, some of this stuff may be survivor's guilt. You know, people often feel like they could have did more. You hear Suge Knight refer to himself as Tupac's protector.
I ain't the killed Tupac, I'm the protected Tupac.
Tupac's guardian of sorts. So he took it very personal when Tupac lost his life on his watch. There were retaliation. There were numerous altercations. There have been plenty of speculation of events that happened after Tupac's death. So Suge took that pretty personal. You don't know exactly how something so traumatic affects the psyche of someone who's going through survivor's guilt. But it's some of the strange things that he also experienced when he was sitting right beside Tupac when Tupac was allegedly murdered that doesn't sit well with Suge Knight. And let's take a good look at that. You know, from Suge saying that Tupac's mom came to him and asked him to pay the mortician so Tupac can get cremated and get that whole situation out the way as quickly as possible. And the number the guy wanted was $3 million. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that $3 million is an extreme amount of money for someone to be cremated. Or from the fact that Suge said Tupac appeared to be okay. Tupac was laughing and joking with him the whole time on his way to the hospital. Next thing you know, they take him in one room, Tupac in another room, and he never physically was able to see Tupac again. This is Suge's words. You also heard Suge say that nobody saw Tupac dead. These are Suge Knight's words. Nobody saw Tupac dead. So, in Suge's mind, some strange things that happen. Now, if you tend to believe some of the other things the Suge say revolving around what happened to Tupac, he squarely places the blame at Puff Daddy. And if you know anything about that whole situation, about Puff Daddy hiring the South Side to put a hit not only on Tupac but Suge as well through Keefe D and Orlando Anderson. And I believe that's very possible what could have happened. But the thing is, I don't believe Orlando Anderson was acting alone. And furthermore, nor was P. Diddy. Because Orlando slipped through the cracks too many times that night out in Vegas from the clutches of the Las Vegas Police Department. First of all, he's a known criminal. You know, it's a database on that. And he got into a fight with a celebrity at a public place. If they would have ran his name or whatever, they would have known these things about him. But instead, they chose to let him walk away scot-free. Second of all, it was a heavy policed area. This whole strip out in Vegas. You know, they have the kind of, should I say, balls to perform a drive-by with active police units around, you know, made me feel like, you know, Mr. Orlando Anderson was pretty secure with his escape. Another thing I found strange is that the BMW was shot up with Tupac and Suge in it, but the police chased after the BMW and let the white Cadillac ride off into the night. So many things that, you know, I don't find to be a coincidence. Now, would Puff Daddy have enough juice or power to make law enforcement turn a blind eye or to, you know, pay them to look the other way, basically, where, you know, this hit was about to take place? I don't know. I believe Suge says things, he want to make it uncomfortable for certain people because he don't want to tell, but he want people to know what happened without saying what happened. You know, when they asked Suge, would he tell what happened to Tupac? Would he tell if he knew who killed Tupac, would he tell? And Suge said, absolutely not. But I think Suge told without telling. It's strange, man. Suge brought up a name that's very powerful. A very powerful individual who's well connected. And we all know who runs the music industry behind the scenes. And that name that Suge Knight brought up that not too many people has ever mentioned is Jimmy Iovine. Now, Jimmy Iovine is like a father figure to Dr. Dre. Tupac got his start on Jimmy Iovine's label, which is Interscope. Right? Death Row is a branch of Interscope Records. When Suge got his hands on Tupac, and Tupac died being a part of his company, Suge said that Jimmy Iovine told him, you can't beat a dead man's sales.
You can't be a dead man's sales.
Does that sound like someone that really cared about Tupac at all? Or was that someone that basically looked at not only Tupac, but all his artists as expendable? And see, one of the strangest things about that comment from Jimmy Iovine is all this time people's been saying that Death Row, if they killed Tupac, they would get all the money, all the royalties would come to them. But they don't realize that Interscope not only got a piece of the Death Row money, but they got a piece to all of Tupac's previous works, all of his albums. Yes.
He said, you lucky as fuck. You done hit the jackpot.
He also mentioned the dealings between Puff Daddy and Jimmy Iovine. Now, if you look at the track record, Dr. Dre had a problem with Suge Knight and Tupac. And where did he go when he left Death Row Records? Jimmy Iovine. Puff Daddy is having a problem with Suge Knight and Tupac. Who did he counsel with behind the scenes? Jimmy Iovine.
Jimmy turned back around and did a deal and signed Puffy as an artist on Interscope. In this business, it's not really loyalty to a lot of these dudes.
You know, in the Gambino lifestyle, you can't even whack another Don unless all the Dons give you their permission. One of the reasons why Suge Knight believed that Tupac was so protected, because Suge was protected. You know, it's a chain of command. Suge figured with nobody there, take a shot at Pac, knowing that Tupac was rolling with him, and they damn sure wouldn't do it with Tupac sitting beside him. I believe somebody gave the okay to go ahead and get rid of Tupac once and for all. Somebody above Suge's head, somebody above Diddy's head, a big shot caller. And it's funny that Suge threw that name out there. Now, does Suge truly believe that Tupac is alive? I don't know. But I know for a fact that Suge catches himself every time he said Tupac died. He catches himself and changes that. You know, one of the reasons why Suge may really believe that Tupac is alive, because he said it several times, is because he's had conversations with Tupac. And he knows all of the enemies Tupac was up against. Pac would tell Suge, yo, you know, run the whole list down to him. And it wasn't just street level people. You know, it was some pretty heavy people. You know, everything wasn't gang affiliated. This was some deep stuff, man. And, you know, you hear a lot of Tupac's lyrics. He's talking about running, trying to get away, avoid capture, evade these guys, disappearing. If he said that stuff in his lyrics, you don't think it ever came up in conversation form? Huh? Having a deep family history of, harassment by the powers that be in this country, man. A lot of political ties, a lot of moving parts. Suge knew about all of these things. And Tupac, I'm sure, shared a lot of it with him. So looking back at it, I don't remember or recall Suge saying these things at first. But as time goes by and it plays more and more in his head, I think it started to make sense to him. Yes. Like I said, the whole situation that happened in Las Vegas is a complete and utter mystery. Will we ever know the truth? I don't know. But I do believe that Suge Knight does. The funny part is, they know Suge knows. Everybody that was all in cahoots with each other. That's why it was so important to bury Suge Knight. Period. You know, they couldn't do it physically. There's been several attempts made at his life. So what did they do? They stripped him of all of his power. and put him in a situation where it can never be obtained again. All you got to do is look at the people that had previous dealings with Suge Knight and look where they at now and look where he is. He's way on the bottom of the totem pole. And on top of that, now he's sitting in a jail cell. But he still knows what he knows. I need you guys to share and like this video. Please leave your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to sub to the channel. This is MAKAVELI Media. I'm your homie Gab. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm signing off. I'm about to hit y'all with the peace.
Woke up with 50 enemies plotting my death. All 50 seeing visions of me shot in the chest.